Why? Why you feel so tired? Ikwan, is it? Ikwan, is it?
Salah, dia macam tiba tapi penat. Dia macam tiba-tiba je.
Oh, I see, I see. Tired mind, you mean stressed out because of the... Is it because of the environment kat rumah?
Betul.
Oh, okay, okay. Then need to get out of it. Anybody that's in the hostel except for the siapa yang duduk hostel tu? The international student, mana dia? Tak nampak gambar dia. Except for her, anybody else that in the college? No? Everybody are all at home, is it? No? I belum ni lagi.
Saliza is in college.
Oh, is it?
Saliza.
Saliza is in college.
Yeah.
You request to be in college or what? No idea.
Yeah, you request if let's say your condition at home isn't very good, then you can request.
You can request to be in college. Well, good and bad, isn't it? You are in college, you've got to think of the food and stuff like that, but you are at home, your mom will take care of those, isn't it? Or is it not? Huh? Remind me to take the screenshot of you, or you want me to take the screenshot now? Can we on camera and take the picture, or we want it to be towards the end? Which one is which?
Nantilah.
Nantilah, belum pakai makeup ya. Okay, nanti. Okay, alright. So today is week 3. We are into week 3. Apa kita kata? Week 3 topics. Okay, it's about the levels of market research. Everything is in your Google Classroom. I'm sure that you have actually downloaded the PowerPoint presentation and stuff. Then secondly, you're talking in terms of your attendance, okay? Kindly fill in the attendance in the Spectrum as well as in my Google Classroom. So then at least I have one copy of those, okay? Because again, I don't have access to Spectrum, okay? Right, before that, anybody wants to share anything or any questions before I start? No, no question. Not in the boot. Is it raining at your place? Is it raining there at your place? Windy. Windy is good. Huh? Yeah. Anybody? Raining? No, not raining. Huh? Too hot. Is it? Your country is very hot. Huh?
It's pretty sunny here. No raining.
Here as well. Shah Alam is also sunny. Okay, on the way to raining. Wow, on the way. You know, huh? It's on the way. Good. On the way is good. Suka hati jadi orang ni. Okay, tak apa. No worries. Alright, we are into topic 3. Let's present now. Topic 3. I can imagine when Ikwan say that. You know, tired mind. Every day you want to see the screen all the time. Where's mine? How come dia hilang? Ya Allah. Hilap. Sorry kawan-kawan. Wait slow, makcik slow. Topic 3. You're off. State market research. Okay. If you were to look at the types of research, kawan-kawan, the types of research. Interestingly, when you are looking into the market research, you'll be able to see that there are two types of market studies. Firstly, when you are looking at the, there's no site attached to it. There's no specific site attached to it. One is detached from the site, another one is attached with the site. Okay, so in the real estate market research, market studies, you will have two scenario here. One is with the site, another one is without the site. So what is that supposed to mean? When you're looking at the market analysis in general, you're looking at the demand, you're looking at the supply, but there's no specific site attached to it. Okay, there's no specific site attached to it. You can look at the whole of Petaling Jaya. You can look at Johor, for example, or you're looking at a particular region, maybe the southern region, the northern region, and stuff like that. But there's no site involved to it. Okay, and another studies is you're looking at a specific site. So meaning that you identify your site earlier. You have your site in mind. Where is it? Your site is lot 1, 2, 3, Jalan, whatever. Okay, so maybe with the site, okay, your study will be more focused because you might look at the highest and best use. You might look at the potential of investment or the potentials of development towards the site, etc., etc. So there are two types of studies here. One is with the specific site. Second is without the specific site. Okay, so that's what it meant. So in market research, you'll be able to look at one general study or one with the specific site. So that's what it meant. Okay, so in regards of the level of market research, okay, there are two levels here. One, you're talking about the inferential. So normally we are looking at the trends of the real estate studies. Or another one, we are talking about the fundamental, which actually focuses towards the specific site. So it can be other studies, okay, other studies excluding the trends. That is what fundamental means. Okay, fundamental is actually, inferential is actually the trends. We are looking at the trends, the future forecast of the market research. Okay, let's look at the in details, what is that supposed to mean? So level of studies in terms of inferential analysis, some book calls it trend analysis. If you are looking at trends analysis, it is very much similar to the technical analysis in regards of the stocks, in regards of the bonds. That is the technical analysis. Okay, what is that supposed to mean? Because when you are looking at the trend itself, you are actually focusing towards the secondary data time series. You're talking about secondary data only. So it's a desktop studies, isn't it? So what happened here is that you will estimate the future changes. So you investigate the market trends. Example, let's say you have the property market report. Okay, you have the property market report, but the property market report will actually produce their report yearly. Okay, yearly, meaning that year by year basis. So you choose one studies, then you plot the diagram. That is what the trends is all about. Okay, you plot that for the past 10 years, for the past 20 years. So you collect the study, the secondary data from property market report, then you plot it accordingly. So that's what we call trend analysis. Okay, that's what we call trends analysis. So what happened here is that you identify the trend. Once you plot that particular data, you'll be able to see the pattern. And these patterns, the importance here is that you'll be able to look at the market behavior. Okay, let's say you're looking at the rental of the PJ area. So you can see from year to year whether or not the patterns is in the ascending order, descending order, or it's a mix. Okay. At time it will go up, then it will go down, up again, down again, and etc. We use the statistical inferences okay, to calculate the yield, to calculate the whatever, okay, just to ensure that they be able to predict the future event maybe, okay, so that the information will be more meaningful. So that's what it meant. So this inferential analysis or the trend analysis, what happened is that they try to project the historical trends. Okay, the historical trends. So that's what it meant. Okay, inferential analysis, or you're talking about the trend analysis. Okay, right. Next one, you're looking in terms of the fundamental analysis. Okay, fundamental analysis goes beyond the trend analysis, meaning that it can be anything under the skies. It can be anything under the skies. Okay, so what happened here is that it will be based on the segmentation of a broad demographic or economic data. Let's say you're talking about the specific area. You're talking about the section 5 of PJ, for example. Okay, you focus towards section 5 of PJ, or you're looking at the section 14, for example. Okay, that is the commercial area and stuff like that. Okay, the rent in section 14 is just quite high, isn't it, as compared to other places. Okay, it's small area, but then it's expensive. Okay, here what happened is that it's not just about the sub-market. It's not just about that segment. You're also looking at other things. You're looking at the competition. You're talking about the properties, surrounding properties. You're talking about this facilities, amenities, opportunities of that particular area. So there are many other things that you'll be able to analyze in your fundamental analysis. So that's why it says it goes beyond that. It's not just about the trend, it's more than that. Okay, anything under the skies. Okay, so that's what it means. So level, we have the inferential demand studies. Okay, they call it level A and B. So what happened here is that the trends demand studies, the focus is towards the historical data, knowledge as well as historical data. Whereas when you are looking at the fundamental, they call it level C and D, is actually about the quantifiable data forecasting. You try to quantify the data. You try to measure the data. Okay, it's not just about historical. You try to do something more than that. Okay, so many other things that you'll be able to do actually. Okay, stop me if you want to say anything. Okay.
Tak faham part quantable.
Oh, okay. Okay. How to actually measure things? Okay, we are going into that. Okay, we are going into that. Okay. Sabar dulu ya, Ikhwan. Alright. Right. So you're talking about level A dulu. Level A in regards of market analysis. Okay. Yes.
Yang PowerPoint ni dekat mana?
Dekat dalam PowerPoint in your. Will you be able to access out that? Wait. In the PowerPoint.
Dekat Google Classroom kan?
Yes, please. Google Classroom, PowerPoint.
Okay. Thank you.
Ada tak?
Ada.
We have topic 3 there. Okay, alright. Right. So here you are looking at just now that we are looking into historical data. Everything is readily available. Okay, all this secondary data is available. Okay, year by year basis. So what happened is that you collect all this year by year. You are the ones that be able to collect it, put it in the Excel form, and then generate the patterns or the trend. Okay, that's what you do. So that's why this so-called trend analysis is all about. Okay, you take those and apa kita panggil lah, key in the Excel form, and then you can generate the trend. So that's what it meant. Okay, be it in terms of the rand, be in terms of comparables evidence, in terms of the capital value, in terms of the yield, it can be anything. But the data is readily available. So that is what market analysis level A is all about. So this is some of the example. Okay, you're looking at property productivity analysis. You're looking at the physical attributes, you're talking about the legal location, or simply a simple demand and supply analysis, or some people might want to look at the marketability, the highest and best use. You know, all this is in regards of the trends. You're looking at the trends. What are the trends? Okay, market analysis, level A. Okay, secondary data. Okay, then B, still on the secondary data, but you relies upon the survey of the market. Okay, you estimate the demand and supply. Okay, you use your data as the basis of judgment in regards of your highest and best use. Okay, so examples towards this is you're looking at these let's say you're talking about legal, you're talking about the deed restriction, you're talking about the easement, you're talking about the legal attributes, or maybe something to do with the data in regards of the demand, in regards of the supply. Okay, so this is what it meant. Okay, you use it, plot it, and then you have the trends. Use it, plot it, then you've got the trend. So that's what it wants. Okay, so that's some of the example. Then level C in regards of the market analysis is about forecasting techniques. It's about forecasting. So what happened here is that you're looking whether or not there's excess of supply, excess of demand, or you're talking itu kawan-kawan, there's a typo error there, excess of supply, no or supply. Sorry, makcik tangan jari gemuk. Jari gemuk, so that's why dia typo. sorry. Kan jari dah gemuk tu dah jadinya. So this is what it meant. So you focus. Just now you just take the data, key in, you plot the trend. So now when you are looking at the level C market analysis, the fundamental, you have some forecasting techniques. Okay, you have some forecasting techniques. Okay, what is it? Okay. You are looking at the same, you are looking at the productivity analysis, are you looking at the demand and supply analysis, are you looking at the marketability analysis? So it's all can be done. It's just a matter of where do you get the data? What can you do with the data? Okay, it's a question of where, how, what can you do? Okay, what's next? So this is what it meant. Okay, so this is level C analysis. Then you are talking about level D. So now normally level D be handled by the professionals. Okay, they have the so-called productivity analysis that they got it from reliable sources. Maybe they have some sort of their own database. Okay, it's just a matter of tailor whatever that their database that they have towards the requirement of the clients, you know. So this is what it meant. Okay, so what happened now is that when you're looking at all these market analysis, be it inferential or be it the fundamentals, they are the apa kita panggil challenges. So what are the challenges? What are the criteria? What are the things that you need to consider? For example, okay, you are looking at the market condition, you are talking about the project type, project size, as well as the client's dates. Okay, the more complicated your client's requirements is all about, the more fees maybe you can charge your okay, bye. You can charge your clients. Okay, so that's what it meant. Okay. Now, when you look at the side by side, this is some of the example that you look at side by side, okay, in regards of the trends analysis as well as the fundamental analysis, okay, trends analysis, fundamental analysis. So let's go each and every items that we have wrote there. Okay, one, you're talking about when you are looking at the trends analysis, it is actually related to the subject attributes. Related to the subject attributes. So when you are looking at the trends of demand, for example, okay, so demands of what? Demands of what? You need to identify those, because you cannot say demand in general. Demands of what? Demands of double story terrace house. See? So you'll be able to get the trend. Where? Where? Tak boleh lah, tak ada where kan? Where? Where is the place? Okay? Where is the place? Is it the whole of PJ? Are you talking about Shah Alam? Are you talking about Batu Pahat? Double story terrace house. Again, when you are looking at trends, the price does play a factor. You cannot say double story terrace house in general. Double story terrace house, the price range this much. So you be able to focus more. So that's why it says here, inferred subject attributes or related to the subject attributes. Okay, so you need to highlight what is it that you want. Okay, in regards of the fundamental demand studies, it quantified subject attributes. What is that supposed to mean? Meaning that they be able to measure subject attributes. We want some sort of measurement. This is what Ikhwan said just now. How? Okay, you're looking at the fundamental. Let's say you're looking at the yield of the double story terrace house, for example. You don't want the trend, but you are looking at the opportunities. What's next? You want to invest. What's next? So that's why in the fundamental demand studies, you quantify, you measure. If you were to develop a double story terrace house in area ABC, whatever, okay, what would be the yield for that particular investment, example, okay, or what would be the market price for that, or the investment values of that particular attributes. So you quantify, whereas the inferential demand studies, you only look at the trends. Okay, you calculate year to year. All the changes is like 20%. The yield increased by 1%, down by 1%, up again by 2%. You see? But the fundamental, you need to have some sort of measurement. That's the difference here. The trends and the fundamentals. Okay, that's the difference here. Right. What else? We are talking about the related locational determinants. This is what we said just now. You must know which area you want to cover. You cannot say that you want to do the trend demand analysis of the whole of Malaysia. Tak boleh. Okay, too much, tak boleh. Kena bagi dulu. Location dia di mana? Where is the location? Okay, where is the location? Okay, and the difference here between inferential and fundamental is that your fundamental you have to quantify. Quantify. What is the quantitative graphic analysis? If you are looking at the location, can you plot it in the map? Will you be able to look at the bird eye pictures of that particular PJ area? Okay, you are not just looking about the macro, you are looking at the micro analysis. So that's what it meant. Okay, there's a difference here. Okay, let's see the difference. More differences coming in. Okay, then you are talking about the general economic based analysis. Again, you are still looking at the trends. However, you relate your trends towards the general economic base. A general economic base. Let's say post or prior to the COVID-19 and post COVID-19. Okay, what would be the transaction of double story houses in PJ, for example? You're looking at the trend. Okay, whereas when you're looking at the fundamental, you derive by the original economic base. Meaning that the demand derived by the economic based analysis, you're looking at the actual demographic, for example. Okay, you are looking at their income, you are looking at their status, for example. So you plot that particular demand studies according to their demographic, according to their economic base, according to their background of education, according to their level of income. Okay, so you have this some sort of not some sort. It's actually the differences between the trends as well as the fundamental. Okay, what else? You're talking about the demand of the selected comparables, supply of the selected comparables. So meaning that you can actually compare between two places, for example. Okay, one is in Batu Pahat, another one is in JB. One is in PJ section 14, another one is in PJ section blah 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 blah. Okay, so you've got two things here. Or when you are looking at the fundamental, you are actually focus the demand by site specific segment. So you must know which segment are you tackling here, which segment you want to focus. Okay, what are the demographic data? So you're talking about apple with apple. If your segment is double story, demographic you must be the same so that it match between the site. Okay, or you're looking in terms of the supply side. Just now you're talking about the demand, we focus the demand, or you're talking about the supply side. Okay, between side A and side B. What's in the pipeline? What's in the pipeline there? So where is the gap, for example? You quantify things. Okay, what is the supply like? What is the demand like and stuff like that. Okay, right. So again, when you are looking at the trends, okay, you can also look at the equilibrium, the balance, or the highest and best use, but in regards of the trend only. Okay, in regards of the historical data only. Whereas when you are looking at the fundamental demand analysis, you be able to calculate the timing. You be able to look at the opportunity in regards of the highest and best use. Okay, what will be the opportunity? What's next? Okay, whereas when you are looking at the secondary data just now, you're talking about the historical data, you only be able to look at the equilibrium, you're looking at the highest and best use based on the historical data. Whereas this one, you'll be able to focus, you'll be able to quantify, you'll be able to look at what's next. Okay, right. So what will be the emphasis here? When you are looking at the trends, you are looking in regards of the instinctive knowledge. Okay, you are looking at the historical data, you're looking at your own judgment, whereas the emphasis of your fundamental is more towards the measurement. You want to quantify the data, you want to be able to forecast the data. Of course, at the end of the day, it's all about judgment, how you interpret that particular information that you have. Okay, how are we doing so far? Any questions so far? Susah kan tak nampak orang nak pergi balik dekat ni. Okay, how are we doing so far? The most important things is for you to remember the difference between the trends and fundamental. Trends and fundamental. One you, yes. You want to say something?
Agak banyak.
Agak banyak to digest. Oh, okay. Alright, yeah. True. It looks complicated, but it's not complicated. In a simple layman language, inferential is about trends, fundamental is more than trends. It is something to do with forecasting, is something that you can quantify. Okay, the words here is quantify. Forecast and quantify. Inferential study is about trends. Guan Yu, are you asking the questions, right? Yep. So inferential study is about trends. You study the trends from the historical data. Because if you were to look at real estate, there are many studies about the trends analysis, isn't it? The trends of rental trend, you're talking about the yield, the trends in regards of the yield. Okay, what else? You're talking about the capital value, the ups and downs. You're talking about the transaction, real estate transaction. You're looking at the trends. Is it going up? Is it going down? How many going up? How many percent? Or in the actual value terms. So inferential is about trends analysis in a simple layman language. Fundamentals is more than that. It's more than that. So other than the trends analysis is fundamental analysis. Okay, shall we? Okay, petang-petang kan tak syok kan? It's not good, you know. Petang-petang ni, you know, you want to study something like this. Issues and scope. What is it about? What is it about, kawan-kawan? Okay, when you are looking at real estate analysis, okay, when you're looking at real estate analysis, what is it about? What would be the basic questions that we are looking at? There are many things, because remember, when you are looking at real estate, certain sectors will be very subjective to the others. Certain sectors, they are very subjective. Okay, for example, you are looking at residential. Residential, although we can say that it is the highest land use, okay, residential has the highest land use. However, in terms of preferences, it is very subjective. It is very subjective. So that is why some of the fundamental questions that we'll be able to give to actually consider, okay, for example, here you are looking at what would be the direct, the indirect factors that influence the residential. Okay, what would be the direct and indirect? Okay, not everything is indirect. Some is very indirect. Okay, very indirect. There's studies, kawan-kawan. I cannot remember which journal, but I remember it's about who make decision in buying a house. So who actually make decision in buying a house? Okay, this particular researcher, I cannot remember, is it a she or a he? But the researcher even looked at the between the wife and the husband, the immediate next of kin of the husband, the siblings, the fathers and whatnot, or they are looking at the wife's side, the parents, the siblings and whatnot. So how do they make decision? Who influenced them in making such decision of buying the property? To me, it's rather interesting. It's rather interesting, you know, because you're looking at buying a house. We said that house is the single largest expenditure in everybody's life. Single largest expenditure in everybody's life. Agree or disagree? Buying a house is the single largest expenditure in everybody's life.
Betul.
Agree.
Right. Never in your life you spend a big amount of money, okay, as compared to buying a house. How much is your house? 1 million. Oh, then how much is the house? Oh, mine is 10 mil. Ooh, wow, man. Or mine is 500,000. Wow, man. The single largest expenditure. So therefore, this particular researchers is looking at who actually influenced this husband and wife in buying the property. So what would be the answer? What do you think? What are the answer? Interesting, isn't it? What would be the answer? What do you think? Anybody? Any idea? Fundamental research, not trend, not trend analysis. This is fundamental. Who influence family in buying a house?
Wife.
Wife. Okay. Shira said wife.
Kids.
The kids.
Kids jadi ramai kan. Lepas tu kalau bilik dah cukup mesti nak angkat rumah baru.
Okay. Logic. Acceptable. Okay. Other than that? Where's my boyfriend? Brian, you're not here, is it?
God, doctor.
There. Okay. So who do you think make decision?
I don't know who can influence or, but maybe himself.
You don't know. The parents maybe.
Parents lah.
Hmm.
But parents quite old already or when we want to buy a house.
What you mean? You want to be near them, so that's why you choose that location. No.
Maybe let them stay together with us ma.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah. Okay. This is quite an interesting research whereby I think the finding actually incline to the wife side. However, the researcher humbly concluded that the finance part come from the husband. However, the decision making mostly been made by the wife and the wife side. Okay, Shira tadi betul lah. Tapi adalah. There are more to it than that. You know, there are things that you're talking about culture. This is part of the constraint. The culture, the family bond. These are some of the things which is not in the book, but is some things that come up from the research. Okay, so this is what it meant. So when you're looking at the fundamental research, when you're looking at the trends analysis, so these are some of the issues and scope. So you need to highlight first, what is it? Okay, what is it? Is it important? Of course, it's important. You are looking at the size, you are looking at the percentage, you are talking about the price range, because all this will influence in regards of this data collection, data analysis at the end of the day. So you need to identify what is the scope, isn't it? What are the issues? Okay, there's no point in you doing something that is so adventurous, but at the end of the day, you might not be able to get the information. You might not be able to get the data and stuff like that. Okay, so that's one of the issues, scope and issues. Okay, one in regards of the residential. Okay, second, when you are looking at commercial, again, sama juga. Okay, you are looking at the commercial. What is it about? What do you think when you are looking at commercial? What would be the things or the issues that you come across with? Okay, ada tak siapa-siapa? Anybody wants to chip in? Of course, there's direct, indirect. There's the space. There's the size. There's the attracted overall market that can attract to it. You're talking about lease per square foot, of course, the rental, retail activities. What else when you're looking at the commercial? What else do you think that's important? What else that we did not mention it here? What is it about commercial? Apa yang dia tak sebut dekat situ? Apa yang dia tak sebut kat situ? What is it? How about technology? Would technology influence your commercial? What do you think? Technology, does it influence your commercial?
How technology influence?
Would that influence? Yes. Green building, yes, influence. Because people don't want to go into the old conventional things, isn't it? People want new things. Now when you're looking at the offices, how does offices look like? It's much more open, isn't it? You want a discussion, not a meeting room per se, but you want an open discussion, open cafe, you know. Oh man, there's a lot of things. You are looking at the natural lighting, kan? Because why, kawan-kawan? There's an article saying that the more intelligence or the more smart your building is, the highest, the higher would be the probability of you will be able to get the sick building syndrome or these building related illnesses and stuff like that. Have you come across such thing or not? Oh yes, what is it you call corporate office desk arrangement? Yeah. People talking about hot desking, isn't it? Hot desking. Hot desking. Maknanya you don't have your own territory. You can do your work anywhere. They just provide you the table with the internet port, with the Wi-Fi, with the plug and everything. You just go. Okay. Like all these co-work cafe, co-work cafe whereby you can work anywhere. Okay. That's other thing that is not in this particular slide, isn't it? You're talking about technology. Will technology influence? Yes. Okay. How many buildings are there that have open space in our country? Look at the Google offices. How do they set up? You know, will that influence? What else? What else? Other than technology, there's another one that will influence the commercial. What is it? Anybody can think of? What other things?
Security.
Security. Yeah. Okay. Health security, yes. But there are other things that very much related to you. What is it?
Offer some clues.
Pardon?
Some clues for us to guess.
Soundproof. No, it's more towards the generation. The generation, your generation. Your generation is what? Not Y. Yours is Z, isn't it? Yours is generation Z. Yeah. Lee Kuan Yew, yeah. Z, right? Yeah, Z, right? Yeah. Z. Z generation, if you Google Z generation, they call it the connected generation. Nanti you Google this so-called connected generation. So when you work, kawan-kawan, when you actually finish up your studies and you work, then you realize that the environment or the ambience of your office might not match with your personality. Okay? Itu kadang-kadang that will create the mood. Okay? Some people might say that psychologically it does not affect their culture, psychology, it won't affect their productivity, but I do believe that there are studies also believe that it does affect all this technology, all this generation, all this apa kita panggil? Yeah. Oh, that's deep. Vibes. Yeah. Okay, so you see, this is some of the issues, the scope of the studies. So tak boleh lah, if you are looking at the commercial, you still want to look at the conventional method. People are looking at, Ashwin said, green, sustainability. You know, you are looking at the open space. You are looking at the new things coming in. So these are the scope that you are looking at. Okay, or in terms of industrial, again, industrial, what is it that you are looking at? Kawan-kawan, what is it that is not here in regards of industrial? What will be the issues, the scope in terms of industrial?
The location of raw material.
Location of raw material. What is that supposed to mean? Minum kawan-kawan, sorry.
Macam industri punya site nak dekat dengan kawasan yang senang dapat, macam dekat-dekat mining punya tempat ke.
But now? But now it's still relevant. Does this industrial been set up very near to the raw material, or is it far from the raw materials?
Jauh kot.
Yep, very true.
Yeah, and then like far
logistic. Would technology influence your industry or not?
Yep.
How?
How? Because the technology can make the industrial move faster and produce more when
More efficient.
advanced, yeah, more efficient.
Yeah. What else? What else? When you're looking at industry, technology, what else would technology actually influence your industrial sector? In what way do you think? Ada tak? How about AI, kawan-kawan? How about AI?
Artificial intelligence.
Yes. How about AI?
The automatic
Anybody? Yeah.
sliding door.
Automatic sliding door, AI. Yeah. But it's more than that, isn't it? AI is more than that. What can AI do? Even now, there are banks that is there's no person, none. You will be entertained by AI, isn't it? Do you realize that? Kan? There's no people in it. There's no such thing. Sekejap I nak baca ni apa. Guan Yu kata, I think technology can aid in the process only, but cannot replace role of real estate profession. Yeah, not real estate profession, but it does influence the industry per se. Okay, why I said that? Because sometimes with the use of the technology, compared to last time, you might require, the industry might require bigger space because of the labor and whatnot. But now things have been more efficient with the plant and machinery. First, you can produce your product efficiently, effectively. At the end of the day, it will be cost effective. It's no longer labor intensive and stuff like that. So that is the function of AI that would influence your industrial sector, isn't it not? Okay. Adiba said AI may increase unemployment. Alah Adiba, sedihnya. Yeah, in a way it's very true. I'm not saying that it's not true. In a way it's very true. It may actually increase unemployment. However, you must bear in mind that who are the people behind the AI? It's actually us, isn't it? We are smarter than them. It's just a way of make your work efficient. Kan, there are certain things you cannot replace human, of course. Okay, your friend have actually Guan Yu has said that, right? Terminator is behind AI. Terminator lah pula. Allahu Akbar. Yeah, that is AI. That is AI once upon a time. Yes, AI, isn't it? There are many things AI can do. I saw this one company. Simple je. It's actually the it's a spreadsheet, but the spreadsheet is built with AI. Okay, I repeat, the spreadsheet is built with AI technology. So when this person is actually the consultant. So what happened is that when you key in things, okay, then the AI will actually blink that particular line. Blink that line, macam Excel tu, the line of Excel tu, let's say line number 20, it will blink red. Okay, so the AI is telling you something wrong with this figure. You see, it's built-in AI. Oh, amazing. I was so impressed. Bodoh kan? I was so impressed. I was like, whoa man, I love this one. I want to get one of those. Kata no, it's not in the market. It's not meant for everybody. See, the AI. That is one thing. That is just the Excel. Now we are talking about industry per se. Okay, industry per se. You're looking at the buildings. Okay, you are looking at the sector, one sector only. So that's what it meant. So that's the scope and issues tailored to the surrounding. Yes, tailored to the things that happening now. Okay. Example, industrial and the COVID-19. Do you think that will actually change the perception of commercial, the perception of the industrial, the perception of the residential later on? Maybe in terms of the design. What do you think? Will that change or not? Will that change or not? Yes, how? How does it change? How does it change? How does it change? Simple je, since you are in the pandemic. How does this change? Okay, anybody? Woman delegation, where are you?
I think people will opt for lower density residential.
And Susan, and not yet jackpot, not yet jackpot. Okay, and a bit more. Come on. And
I don't get what doctor wants. And what?
And what? So what? What's next? So you want the low density? Why?
Because most of us are required to stay at home, so that we will need more spaces for us to like not disturb each other.
Yes, and you need more space for
home
working. You need more space to create what? More privacy. You need more space to
social distancing.
More space to do your recreation. What else? Isn't it? In fact, the other day we have the webinar from the one of the, I think it's Kobe, I cannot remember which university in Japan, but this particular architect, Japanese architect, he did mention that to be sustainable, okay, I use the word Ashwin used, to be sustainable, ability to sustain in the future. Of course, like Susan said just now, one, you're talking about the low density, you're talking about more spaces. You looked at how our apartments, our condominiums are being designed is so cramped, isn't it? So cramped. So you need more natural airflow and stuff like that. You know, that is quite interesting. That webinar is interesting to me. This is what market analysis is all about. Fundamental market analysis, kawan-kawan. So this is it. What we are talking about here is all about the fundamental. It's all about fundamental. Okay, all the issues, all the scope is all about fundamental. So there's more to it. The sky's the limit. As long as you can think of something, you'll be able to identify things. Okay, you are talking about the issues, you are talking about the scope, what happened to the residential, what happened to the commercial, what's next. So this is what it meant. Okay, right. So that's one thing. So basically, the scope will actually direct you into three important aspects: the indirect factors, the direct factors, and lastly, you are talking about data synthesis as well as recommendation. Okay, direct factors, you're talking about, let's say you're talking about supply, expectations of demand, you're talking about planned supply, you're talking about the competitions, you're talking about the cost, the labor, the capital and stuff like that. This is the direct factors. Then you have the direct factors for the demand, population, income, employment. That is the direct factors. Okay, we also have the indirect factors. Okay, in terms of the zoning, transportation, environmental, consumer behavior, etc., etc. So these are the indirect factors. Okay, direct factors, indirect factors, and of course, when you are looking at these particular scope, let's say you're talking about the demand and supply. What's next? So what's next? You'll be able to do a comparison between supply, demand comparison. Okay, adakah whether your supply is in excess of your demand, or is it demand is in excess of your supply. Supply is low, maybe, we don't know. Or you're talking about if your supply is low, your demand is high, then you see your market potential. Or you're talking about your supply and demand comparison. At the end of the day, you're looking in terms of the pricing. Okay, pricing. So what's next? You recommend for the prices, you recommend for more development and stuff like that. Okay, or maybe you're looking in terms of the pricing itself. Okay, you try to determine the price. You want to recommend what are the prices, or you're looking at the consumer perhaps. Okay, characteristic, what are the things that consumer want and stuff like that. What are the things that you want? If you were to buy a house, what would be the characteristic? What is it that you want, kawan-kawan? What is it that you want? What is it that you want? If you are buying a house, what is it that you want? What happened to our class rep? Sehat dah? What happened to our class rep? Is he here today? Is he here today? Class rep?
Macam tak ada.
Is he okay? Improving? How's the health? Anybody know? No? No? No. Tak ada. No. Nobody in contact with him, is it? Nobody is in contact with him?
No.
Oh, class rep? Oh, tak ada orang Tak apa, nanti saya tanya Dr. Has what happened. Okay, right. So, what is my question again? Tengok, teruk kan? Aduh, ya, salah. What is it that you want in regards of, if you want to buy a house, what sort of product are you looking at? Anything in the market that interests you? Anything in the market now that interests you? Anything in the market that interests you now?
Service apartment.
Service apartment. Oh, you like service apartment. Yeah. Okay. Eco-majestic. Wow. That's quite high, isn't it? They're selling at a quite high price. How much are they selling? Any idea? I know it's high, but I don't know how high is high. How high? Oh, $500,000 Low. Okay, suburban area. Yeah. Anybody else? Anybody else? What is your characteristic? What is your requirement? What is it that you are looking for? This is part of the fundamental. You are not looking at the trend. You are talking about the actual potential buyer of real estate. Man, that is very complicated. The potential buyers of real estate, potential buyers of houses. Whoa. That's quite interesting, isn't it? I bet that all the 37 answers were produced one small research already. But this particular research might not portray the whole of the same respondent, your group of respondent, okay, the generation Z respondent. It won't portray because it's only one portion, isn't it? So that's what market analysis is all about. Okay, this is what market analysis is all about. Okay, right. Okay. So these are the scope that we are talking about. Okay, the scope that we are talking about. Then the next one in regards of your data analysis and recommendation. Of course, your data analysis and recommendation will actually synthesis the data that you have from your whatever that you have collect. Okay, you need to synthesize that one, you need to analyze it, then you need to interpret the data. Okay, that's what analysis is all about. And some of the analysis, kawan-kawan, there are software that will actually help you to analyze certain things. Okay, some might look at the hedonic analysis, some might look at the AHP in terms of decision making, some would look at different software altogether. Okay, en vivo, for example, if you're looking at the qualitative methods, so there are things here that you can synthesize, you can analyze your data and get results. So that's what it meant. Okay, it's not something that you do, but at the end of the day you don't know how to go about it. Tak ada, semua tu dah clear cut. So that is what market analysis is all about. Okay, in these particular aspects of market research, you also be looking at the research consulting process. Okay, research consulting process. So basically, research consulting process will involve the instruction from your client. Okay, then you will have your proposal, you will have your contract signing. People don't do consulting without any contract signing. Okay, then you have the systematic procedures. You need to communicate, you need to coordinate your work. Okay, so basically there are 4 stages. If you're looking at the research consulting, you're looking at 4 stages. What is it? You're looking at the developers or your clients' goals and objectives. Okay, you analyze whatever that they ask you to according to the terms of reference in your contract. Okay, either you are doing the market or you are doing the feasibility studies. Okay, then only you come out with your project decision. So this is what the research consulting process is all about. Okay, right. So basically, whatever you are doing, either the market research for the consultant, or you're looking at the market research for the in-house, as you might be appointed as the in-house workers. Okay, so the basic step are all the same. The basic steps are all the same. What is it about? You're talking about the market condition. You're talking about the are you looking at the forecasting the elements? Okay, then you are looking at the whole process of the gut feelings into the intelligence information. You need to convert those. Okay, what is that supposed to mean here? Meaning that the gut feeling is very subjective. Only you know, only you understand. You have that feeling. Your sixth sense say that, whoa, in the years to come, this particular place will be one of the good investment. That is your gut feeling. Now you need to transform the subjective things in yourself into something that is intelligence information. So therefore, you need the scientific approach. How to transform something that is subjective into objective. So this is what it meant. Okay, so therefore you need the scientific approach. What is the scientific approach? Is the process of you doing the market analysis. It's the process. Where do you get the data? How do you analyze the data? How do you go about it? How do you come up with the recommendation? How do you analyze and stuff like that? Okay, so last but not least, you will have your conclusion as well as how you communicate the result. Okay, how do you communicate the result? I did one studies about the property management in regards of the tenants satisfaction. Okay, that was sometimes in the early 2000, if I'm not mistaken, early 2000 in kawan-kawan. The finding shows that the Kuala Lumpur tenants, okay, my case study is in Kuala Lumpur. Most of the office buildings are in Kuala Lumpur at that point in time. Okay, most of the tenants in Kuala Lumpur, I cannot remember how many percentage, but the majority of tenants at that particular time, they are looking at aesthetic values or aesthetics elements of the buildings, okay, rather than anything else. You faham tak? Okay, what satisfied the tenant is the aesthetic elements of the building. That's quite surprising, you know. Aesthetic, image. Cantik tak bangunan tu? If the building has some aesthetic elements, then they would love it. That satisfied them altogether. They are not looking at the amenities. They are not looking at the facility. They are not looking at the location. What's important to them is the aesthetic. Okay, that was in early 2000. Okay, that's quite interesting as well. So what would be the steps? You are talking about defining the problem, the research objective. Of course, you have gone through this in your research methodology, but I just go through it very fast. Okay, very fast. You're looking at the research plan, implementing the research plan, collecting and analyzing the data, then you interpret the data. Okay, interpret the data. How do you go in regards of the defining the research problems and objective? Okay, this one you must have a very clear problem or needs information. You must know how to obtain the information. Same goes when you do your academic project. You do your academic project, you do your dissertation, right? You do your dissertation. You must know what is the problem in order for you to obtain your information. Okay, because if you have the wrong information, what happens is that everything will be translated wrongly, or it will be very vague. At the end of the day, you might not be able to achieve your objective. Okay, you might not be able to achieve your objective. That's the danger here. Okay, defining the problems and objective must be clear as crystal. Okay, this is another good example. Okay, we have a 3 different scenario here. It says that the 3 different needs and steps for a market research. Okay, we have 4 boxes here: box 1, box 2, box 3, and box 4. Okay, if you're looking at 3 to 4, you're going to get 3, 2, and 4. So this reflects a site searching for a market. So this is the process for site searching. Okay, if you have 2, 3, and 4, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so this one is different scenario already. You're looking at a different research altogether. Or another research is that you're looking at 1, 2, and 3. This will reflect the real estate as an investment alternative. Okay, so this is the 3 different scenario that we are looking at. Okay, an example here, an example to clear what is it that we are talking about here. Okay, you are talking in terms of defining your research problem, isn't it? So different research will have a different ways to obtain the information. So that's what it meant here. Okay. Of course, we say that do not too vague or too broad, because at the end of the day, you won't be able to get whatever information that you want to get. Okay, so this is very important. It must be very clear. What are the problems? How to actually obtain the information. Okay, so that's what it meant. Second, you are talking about deciding on the research approach. Okay, primary, secondary, what is the implication for you to do primary? What is the implication for you to do the secondary? Okay, all these will be considered in any research, I'm not just talking about the market research here. I'm talking about your own research. You're talking about this dissertation as well. Okay, you're talking about ad hoc versus continuous research. Are you talking about the quantitative or qualitative research? All this has its own approaches, has its own disadvantages, has its own advantages and stuff like that. Okay, this one need to be clear as well. So from your objective, you'll be able to identify your approaches. Okay. Deciding on the types of research. Are you looking at the desk research? What is that supposed to mean? Desk research is the secondary data. Okay, secondary data. Field work, field research, you're actually going out. Primary data. Observation research, again, you must have your logbook, you must have your date, you must have the time. What is it that you observe? I've got one student that do this observation research. Okay, she's looking at the vandalism in regards of the apartment or flat. I cannot remember, but is the strata residential development. So what she did is that she be at the lobby or at the playground or any common areas, just to observe how people deal with all these public goods, how people deal with these public goods. We are looking at the elements of vandalism. Okay, sometimes when she's at the lobby, she's observed that rather than you press your the button of the lift using your finger, you press it using your elbow, some press it step on it, you know, and stuff like that. So that's quite interesting. Or you're talking about the survey. Okay, survey can be focus group, can be interviews and stuff like that. Huh? Okay, right. Developing the research plan. Okay, research plan. This one is the methods that you use to collect your information. Okay, and this one must be very clear again. Not just the objective. This one also must be very clear. Why? Because you need to have the timeline. Because when you plan your research, what is number one, number two, next. It's the process, kawan-kawan. It's actually the process. So your research plan is actually the process. Okay, sometimes you have got to do what A, B, C, D, E. You cannot jump A, jump to Z. Cannot. Okay, you won't be able to get the information. So that's why you're talking here about the deciding on the research objective. You're talking about investigating. You're talking about the demographic, economics. You're talking about other information requires and stuff like that. Okay, so that's what the specific information that you must have. Or you're talking in terms of the survey information, secondary or primary. You know, starts by gathering which one, secondary first, how to go about it. Okay, define the problem, the research objective, which one is cheaper, which one is quicker, what will be the problem involved, okay, etc. Okay, right. See, you're planning in terms of data collection. Data collection. How do you do your data collection? Okay, is it important? Yes. Now you're talking about all this social media. There are many ways, not just about the mail, not just about the telephone. There are many ways. You can use your WhatsApp, you can use your FB, you can do a lot of other things. You can blast your text and whatnot. Okay, so there are many. We are going into this in great details next week, if I'm not mistaken. It's about data collection and stuff. Okay, right. Your survey, research instruments. Make sure you have your questionnaire. Okay, you have the checklist. Is it important? Yes. Let me just remind you, when you're talking about questionnaire does not plug from the air. You do not plug your questionnaire from the air. You must have the basis of you designing the questionnaire. Where do you get the question? Where do you get the element? So this comes from your literature review. You cannot just say, oh, I've got the idea last night, so I put it on paper, so this become my questionnaire. No. So that means that you have no basis of designing your questionnaire. Okay, you must have your basis in designing. Where is the basis? In your literature review. So that's why your literature will be connected to your data collection and data analysis. Okay, so that's what it meant. You must have your checklist as well. Okay, when you do your survey research. Then you implement your data collection. Once done, then you implement your data collection. Okay, how do you want to go about it? Okay, which one is more? Is it cheap? Is it expensive? Are there any errors? Who should monitor? Okay, how do you want to go about it? How data is going to process, analyze, etc. So this falls under your data collection. Shouldn't be a problem for you to understand this because you have gone through the process of your dissertation. Okay, by now you are familiar with this. Okay, presenting your result, of course, once you've got the data, you analyze, then only you'll be able to interpret the findings. Is it easy? Not to say easy, but it requires some skill. So you need to understand, if you cross-tab between the income and the age group, for example, okay, then you'll be able to have the set of new finding, for example. Or you want to cross-tab between the price of this property towards the location, for example, then you'll be able to map the location, and you will have a different findings altogether. So that's the beauty of how you interpret the findings. You use cross-tab, you use the regression analysis, you use a lot of other tools. Tak susah, ada je. Okay. What's the summary? Of course, we said just now that whenever you are doing your market research, is a systematic design. You are talking about the collection, the analysis, the reporting, etc., etc. And you do have the specific as well as general. Okay, remember general, no site attached to it. Specific meaning that you have the specific site to it. Okay, you have two levels. You have the trends and future forecast. You also have the fundamentals. Then you have the research consulting process. You have the 7 steps in conducting the research. You also learned how to present that particular findings. Okay, is it important? It is very important. Okay, in any research, it is very important to communicate the findings. And when you are talking about communicate the finding, kawan-kawan, when you do your research, you must be very humble. Humble in a way that when you conclude things, we don't actually write we write it in a very diplomatic manner. Okay, what is that supposed to mean? The finding revealed that blah 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 blah. Okay. However, there are other things that need to be, you see, you mellow down. You tak ada kata, the finding shows that real estate will increase as the whatever increases. Tak boleh. Okay, tak boleh sombong sangat, tak boleh. You must be very humble in concluding your findings. Okay, so that there's no right and wrong answer in regards of research. Okay, there's no right or wrong answer. It depends on the data that you have. The data that you have shows that the finding is like this. Okay, and then somebody else's might do the same research, but their finding shows another scenario. Okay, so that's why normally being a researcher, we try to be humble in concluding our research. Okay, right? Questions? Banyak salah makcik ni cakap sorry.
Tak ada lah, Doktor.
Aduh, penatnya Brian kan. Ayo, penat sungguh. Okay. The most important things for today, for today, you must remember that the level, you have specific, you have non-specific, you have the trends, and you have the fundamental, inferential and fundamental. That is what's important. So you remember that when you are doing real estate, that's why you find that there are many trends analysis. So that's what it meant. Okay, how's we doing in regards of our assignment? Any questions? Anything? I need to take picture lah, kawan-kawan. I need to print screen. Whoever that can open up their camera, please. Love you, Brian. Guan Liu cepat buka. Kavita. Guan Liu, yeah. Okay. Sikat sikit, kasih cantik. Okay, right. Ikuan. Susan. Guan Liu, yes. Afiq, where's Afiq? Yes, sir. Syira, kenapa terbalik? Syira, susah nak tengok, Syira. Terbalik saya. Nurul, where are you? Ashwin, senyap je hari ni. Nurul, bukalah. Waida. Yuhu. Mana saya nak masukkan semua? How do I take all of you? Huh?
Change layout, Doctor.
Mana layout? The three dot, is it?
Yeah, press 3 dots on the bottom right.
Then
Change layout. Change to tile.
okay, it's style already.
And then increase the number to maximum.
Maximum. Okay.
Yeah, so now you can see everyone.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Oh, wow. There's so many people here. Mana buka lah. Bawah tak buka lagi. Who's this? Where do I get the name? How to put the name?
You just move your mouse around the screen.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got the name already. Okay, smile. 1, 2, 3. Yay. Wait ah. I tengok dulu ada tak ada. Wait. Alah, tak ada lah. Kejap. Lagi sekali. Wait, kawan-kawan. Sorry. Makcik, too slow. 1, 2, 3. Tunggu, sorry. Yay! Peace to the world. All right, thank you very much all. Don't forget the attendance. Okay?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, attendance in this spectrum. I shall see you again tomorrow. Take care, stay safe, stay healthy. Okay, Assalamualaikum. Bye. Bye all.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Bye.